There's huge change at Grove, with Williams announcing a new strategic direction last week, one that could include a majority sale of the business after it posted a $16 million loss from 2019. The news spoke of a monumental shift away from its long-term position of staunch independence, with the release stating it's open to raising new capital for the business or a divestment of either a minority or majority stake, including a potential sale of the whole company. Options that Deputy Team Principal Claire Williams hopes will secure the team's future. The Brit speaking in January this year about the importance of her 750-strong workforce during the last few campaigns.
Williams hasn't had the easiest of seasons in the past couple of years, and I've been asked over those 2 years what has kept me going personally, because it's not easy going around the world leading a team when you're not doing so well. And I've always said it's the people in my team that inspire me.
Williams also cut ties with title sponsor Rocket and major sponsor Rock Drinks with immediate effect, despite the deal scheduled to conclude in 2023, suggesting a new partner is on the horizon. The squad hopes to finalize new investment within 3 to 4 months. Woking's McLaren Technology Center is reeling from the announcement that the brand will shed 1,200 staff as part of a major restructure across its automotive, technology, and racing teams. The historic marque has been severely affected by COVID-19, with car sales down and advertising revenue hit, with F1 and IndyCar on hiatus. But despite a raft of financial measures, such as an extended shutdown period and new $145 million cost cap and glide path, which the squad championed, McLaren had no choice but to slash a quarter of its workforce, including 70 from its racing operations. This is undoubtedly a challenging time for our company, and particularly our people, but we plan to emerge as an efficient, sustainable business with a clear course for returning to growth, said McLaren chairman Paul Walsh. Over to Enstone, which has received a strong signal of stability following Renault's announcement last week that it remains committed to Formula One, despite slashing €2 billion and 15,000 jobs from its worldwide budget across the next 3 years. The French marque has been hit hard by the COVID-19 crisis and had a perfect chance to exit the sport given the end of the Concorde Agreement and no engine customers from 2021. But Renault has publicly backed the program, given its racing DNA and F1's incoming cost cap that will improve its marketing return. We will have to invest less in this discipline than some of our competitors who spend a lot of money, said Renault's interim chief executive Clotilde Delbos. Moving to Paris's Place de la Concorde, and F1's governing body, the FIA, has rubber-stamped another raft of changes to safeguard the sport as it recovers from the effects of COVID-19. F1's cost cap is now approved at $145 million for 2021, with a drop to $140 million in 2022 and $135 million from 2023 to 2025. The list of exclusions, however, has increased. On the sporting side, the big news is the aero testing handicap has been given the green light, extending from 2021 through to 2025. The reigning world champion will receive 90% of the development time, with each position down earning an extra 2.5%, and a more aggressive scale from 2022, providing real assistance. While in the garages, technical regulation changes have been made to keep costs down ahead of F1's expensive new era. With freezes to a large list of components between 2020 and 2021, like the chassis and gearbox, with a token system devised for modifications. The minimum weight will also increase by 3 kilograms to 749. Austria's government has officially given the green light for F1's season opener to go ahead behind closed doors at Spielberg's Red Bull Ring. But the format could be shaken up, with teams voting this week on whether to include a reverse grid qualifying race. The race would replace qualifying in a second weekend of a given track's double-header, such as Austria and Silverstone, for more TV interest, with the initial grid created from reverse championship order. However, Mercedes is said to be firmly against the idea, and unanimous agreement required for it to be voted through to the FIA. Valtteri Bottas's race engineer Riccardo Mosconi has revealed better radio communication could help the Finn in his fight to get on teammate Lewis Hamilton's ultra-consistent level. Bottas has no doubt upped his game with the Silver Arrows since he first joined in 2017 with 7 wins, 4 of which were earned last year, but needs another step this season to fight Hamilton at every race. With Mosconi, who was promoted last year to become the Finns' race engineer, looking to cement their progress.
I think it's been okay. Obviously, I think that's an area that we could do better on our side of the garage for sure. But I think we improved a tiny bit over the first few years of Valtteri and Mercedes. But it's interesting, a couple of years ago, I went through all the messages of all the races during that season, and you could see there's a sharp contrast between how much is going on with one driver compared to another one.
The prancing horse has widened its search for the next F1 superstar, with the Ferrari Driver Academy inking a deal with FIA member club Motorsport Australia to scout the Asia-Pacific region. The partnership, the first in a series of grassroots deals across the globe, will be run from Sydney's Motorsport Park, with 14 to 17-year-olds assessed in F4 cars. The best 2 will then be sent to Italy for further training, and there's been no shortage of applicants, said Motorsport Australia's Mike Smith, speaking exclusively to the Inside Line.
Look, we've had a huge amount of interest. At the moment, we haven't confirmed the date of our first academy. And as I said earlier, we probably look to run the first one either in late or Q4 2020, or if not, first quarter of 2021. And that will very much depend on travel restrictions being eased, obviously.
And while Motorsport Australia, as the FIA's national sporting authority, has the autonomy to deliver the program, the prancing horse will be actively involved.
But certainly when it gets to the sharp end of the selection phase, they'll be here and keeping a close eye on things.
Netherlands track Zandvoort will have to wait another year for F1 racing, with the return of the Dutch Grand Prix now postponed to 2021, after the organisers decided against a closed-door event. The Dutch race was a highly anticipated addition to this year's calendar, with huge national interest in Max Verstappen initially forcing an Olympic-style ticket ballot with more than 600,000 registrations logged. But COVID-19 led to the event's first postponement on March 19, and while the organisers worked with F1 to reschedule as the world emerges from lockdown, Zandvoort sporting director Jan Lammers had admitted that a Dutch Grand Prix without fans was an unthinkable scenario, resulting in another delay to 2021, with all allocated tickets still valid. "We ask everyone to be patient," he said. "I had to look forward to it for 35 years, so I can wait another year." Silverstone's chances of hosting a British Grand Prix have improved, with UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson reportedly telling his cabinet ministers to make Formula One happen. Johnson's new 14-day quarantine measure for incoming UK visitors to be introduced from June 8 threw a curveball at the sport, with implications for the event and movement of the 7 British-based teams.
To prevent reinfection from abroad, I'm serving notice that it will soon be the time, with transmission significantly lower, to impose quarantine on people coming into this country by air. And it's because of your efforts to get the R down and the number of infections down here that this measure will now be effective.
And while the UK government initially stated F1 would not be granted an exemption, it is understood Johnson's about-face for closed-door events was to save the British motorsport industry. The draft calendar has since been shuffled, with Hungary now likely following an Austrian double-header, with events at Silverstone in another triple-header with Spain, before Belgium and Italy, which has extended its deal to 2025. AlphaTauri technical director Jody Egginton says the team is committed to being best of the rest this year, but the Brit is expecting a brutal season-long fight, with the midfield likely extending to 10th place. Red Bull's B team enjoyed its best ever season last year, with podiums in Germany and Brazil helping it to finish 6th in the constructors' standings. But it's hoped the AT01, an evolution of last year's car, will propel it to the front of F1's midfield pack.
We think we're in the mix. To be able to finish the best of the rest this year, that's our target. It's going to be incredibly hard, and I expect the 4th place team will evolve and change through the season.
Egginton also hailed shared works power unit partner Honda for the part it's played, with AlphaTauri having a level of input that it never could with former suppliers Renault and Ferrari.
It's all worked really well. They're a fantastic partner. They deliver on what you ask, and we try to deliver on what they ask, and it's been great. It's been really nice having more input and exposure to the power unit side of it.
Thanks for watching. To stay up to speed on all things Formula One, make sure you hit the subscribe button.